Why am I still so passionate about Bitcoin, even though the price has been going sideways for most of 2025? Well, the answer is because Bitcoin solves the world's biggest problem, which is the problem of money. The world is not going back to barter, which means we're going to use something as money. And the current money of the world is fundamentally broken because a small group of people controls how much of it there is. So the same money you have to work hard for, they print out of thin air, which devalues and steals the value of your money that's in your pocket. So you can take a US $100 bill, you can put it in your pocket, and guess what? They're stealing the value of that even while that bill sits in your pocket because they're making more $100 bills out of thin air, issuing them into the economy, pushing up the prices of everything, which is called inflation, resulting in your $100 bill being a lot less valuable, even though it was just sitting in your pocket. The only solution to that is money that the government can't make more of out of thin air. And there's only one kind of money that is viable in a modern economy, and that is Bitcoin. We are not going back to gold. Gold is not divisible. Gold is not portable. Gold is not authenticatable. We cannot use gold in a modern economy as money. And if we try to use it as money, we end up using something that represents gold. Gold tokens or gold or pieces of paper that represent gold. And then what always happens is whoever controls the tokens or whoever controls the pieces of paper makes too many of them. They make way more of them than is actually represented by the gold that is supposed to back it. Gold does not work because you have to trust somebody to keep the gold backing of whatever it is you're using as money, whether it's electronic money, whether it's crypto money, whether it's, paper money, regardless of what kind of money you're using, if it's gold backed, you have to trust that it stays gold backed, and gold backed money has never, in the entirety of human history, gold backed money has never stayed gold backed money. It has always eventually ended up in a rug pull where whoever controls the issuance of whatever represents the gold makes too much of whatever that is. So we're going to use something as money. We need to use something where you don't have to have a bunch of gold in a vault somewhere and trust somebody, because that has never worked throughout history. And Bitcoin is the only money that nobody can make more of out of thin air. It has all of the perfect attributes of a perfect money. It is divisible, it is durable, it is portable, it is fungible, it is authenticatable, and it is, most importantly, scarce. There are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins ever in existence. So Bitcoin is the perfect money, and the perfect money solves a huge number of problems in the world, the biggest of which is income inequality and wealth inequality. A huge driver of income inequality and wealth inequality is that when the money is broken, people who work for wages are constantly having their wages undermined by inflation. Whereas people who have wealth in assets, real estate, stocks, bonds, whatever, people who have assets see that inflation push the prices of those assets up some. They're still worse off as far as inflation, but at least some of the inflation effects are the result of pushing the asset prices up. So if the money is broken, people who already own assets, the haves, end up with more. The have-nots that are trying to save up in the form of money, US dollars, the have-nots end up with less because the inflation hurts the poor more than it hurts the wealthy. So when you fix the money, you fix the inflation. And when you fix the inflation, you fix this constant wealth transfer that is happening to the wealthy at the expense of the poor, that is caused by a central government money printing, which prints money from the top. It goes first to Washington, D.C., then it goes to defense contractors, then it goes to big banks, then it goes to Wall Street, then it goes to a bunch of rich people, and eventually that money finds its way into the pockets of poor people after the inflation has already happened. So by the time the new money gets in the hands of poor people, the inflation has already happened, and they're stuck buying everything at much higher prices, when the people who got the money first were able to buy things at the prices before the inflation. So humans need money. Bitcoin is the best money. A huge amount of problems in the world, including forever pointless wars, which are funded by printed, made-up money out of thin air, which wouldn't even happen if the government had to get that money through taxation or some other means, but they can just print it out of thin air. So, hey, why not be at war with everybody all the time? And all the money printing makes everyone worse off, but it hurts the poor more than it hurts the rich. which exacerbates inequality, wealth inequality, income inequality. Sound money fixes those problems, and eventually the price of that fix will be reflected in the price of Bitcoin.